So, to start off this last lecture project, I just want to say something really important. The important thing is that saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And that quote was learned from my advisor, Mr. Begris, when I was a freshman. We actually learned this quote by watching the movie Bronx Tales during advisory because we need a little bit of motivation in our lives. Without that motivation, I wouldn't have worked as hard as I would have continuing this year to graduate. So before I came to Mushin, I was the student with the average C pluses or the D's and F's because there was really nothing for me to do. I was being a cocky little boy and saying, I'm gonna pass all this. I don't need this in my life. But when I first came to Mushin, it hit me. It told me that there's something that I need to do. Not for me, and not for everyone, but it's for the world. And that quote told me that if there's a reason why you're here, there's a reason why everyone is. That's why people have to rethink what they're actually gonna do because we don't know what we're gonna do with our lives yet. I mean, I don't know where I'm gonna be. I want to become a pharmacist. Life might lead me to here. And the problem being is when you see the cover in this video, it's gonna be letters from a young brother. And let's imagine I'm Hill Harper and you're the younger brother. I'm here to leave you something that you'll remember that will bring forth in your life, and that will help you progress in your life because this book, an example of me moving on with my life would be joining the peer jury program. So I had to join this organization called the Chinese American Service League where I helped other Chinese American students or other Pacific Islanders that needed help. And during this process, I came across this so-called program called peer jury. And this peer jury program was to help misdemeanor teenagers, actually in a court system where I was a juror and gave them a second chance, basically to reflect upon their actions and see what they actually have to do. And every time I do this task, I always remember that the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. Seeing all of these teenagers, they all have this potential of becoming a great leader, all go to waste because they grew up in a bad environment. And it's sad to think about this because if you think about it, a lot of people have the part-time thing to do anything. Also, in this book, Hill Harper taught me that no matter who you are, children, teenagers, adults, we all come across an obstacle that we have to overlap. And because of that overlap, we have to find some way to come across that. We have to work hard. That's why we have that talent. Our talent isn't our specific skill. Our talent is actually the way we find our ways to solve a problem. And because of that method, we become the talent and we become the person that other people need in the future. That's why you see people with PhDs. It's not because they're smart. It's because they work toward it. They have that motivation. So will you. And this is my last lecture because I'll be moving on soon. I won't be a Mushin student anymore. I'll be joining the Urbana-Champaign students in college and leaving this message towards the other grades. You have to find a motivation. Without a motivation, you won't be successful. Well, you will be successful, but you have to be happy. You need that burning passion in order to succeed. That's why it doesn't matter what. Don't ever think that if you get bad grades, that means you don't deserve anything. Bad grades are grades. But what means most is your own talent, and your own talent is what you'll find out by yourself without anyone helping, because you're the only person that controls your life, nobody else.